What's up guys, it's Charles here with Rocket Punch Armor to do another review, this time courtesy of tfdirect.com. They've sent this really cool robot. It's the Clonedroid. For those of you not familiar with this, it's pretty much Sixshot from Transformers. And for those of you familiar with this, you may recognize it as Hexatron from Mastermind Creations. It seems they've made, I guess it's a knockoff, done their own box, their own design, but they've made a few changes which we'll get into during a review. So it's not just a full-blown KO, and there's actually some improvements which I want you guys to see. And it's got, I would normally say the typical Japanese writing, but this is actually Chinese writing. I'll have my lovely assistant just read off a little bit there.
当查尔斯是走在工作中，我邀请过我的孩子与他的所有机器人玩。
I don't know what she said, guys, but like before, if you want to know what she says, just copy-paste the Chinese down there in the description, put it on Google Translate, and hopefully she said something cool. Alright, so anyway, the design here, it's got a very, typical kind of Chinese looking design. I don't know what that's actually called. If you're Chinese or into this type of artwork, let me know what exactly it's called. Here you'll see the Clonedroid. The box is very firm and corrugated, as you can see the lines here. And you have the Clonedroid logo here to the side with some nice patterns here on the back. And on the back, more Chinese. A lovely assistant. Can you please read what it says there?
该审查将导致你失去你的头发像查尔斯。感谢收看。
I guess that's really cool stuff. Now, well, actually, she just left. But here, this little seal is like a, traditional Chinese kind of seal. And according to what I've, read online, there's very little information on this. But I do know that this seal here does say something about keeping back an evil beast or something like that. I guess it's like a play on how evil this guy is, that by cutting this tape over here, you're releasing a beast. Either that or I'm cursed for life, damn it. So anyway, enough of the box. We're going to go ahead and check out the contents. Alright guys, so here he is out of the box. He doesn't come in robot form because he is taller than the box in robot form, as you can see here. They do have him packaged in one of his alternate modes, and it comes packed with a nice thick paper. You see here it's a little bit of almost like a card type paper that's full color that shows the transformation. And it also comes with this, which I believe is a spec card. Don't know what it says anywhere on it. I don't see any numbers with specs. I don't know if those are specs. I have no clue, guys. But it does come with this little card, which is cool. And it comes with a little glossy poster, which unfortunately is folded. But as you can see, it's nice and glossy. Very cool artwork there. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. I don't own the original Hexatron. I could not tell you for sure if this is built better but what I can tell you is from the reviews I did check out, that certain things are either improved or changed or whatever, and I'm sure Hexatron owners will be able to notate that a lot easier, and please leave comments below if there's something I miss. But let's say, for example, I was watching Vangelis do a review of his, and I noticed when he would get close up to the plastics look kind of rough and a little weird up close, and it seemed sharper. The molds, the lines seem a lot sharper and a lot smoother, especially one part where he zooms into the hand and the hand just looks really ripply and just weird. I don't have that issue with mine. The hands actually almost look machined. Now I'd like to get in close if I may, and of course I may, it's my own video, I can do whatever I want. But if we look really close, normally I would just use my macro lens, but it's lost forever in one of my wonderfully organized drawers. You can see it's got a very nice, it's got a swirly thing. That's what the texture is. It's swirly, but it's actually molded very, very sharply. And I did notice on the example in the YouTube video, it just looked a little weird. And I also noticed a gap right here where these vents are. This doesn't seem to have much of a gap. So little things like that I did notice were a little bit better on this example. Now while we're on the subject of the hands, when it comes time to transform, this part swings open originally from the box, and it will be very hard to take the hand out, like really hard. You have to pry something underneath. Just don't use anything sharp and ruin the plastic. But once you got it popped out, it's fine, but anytime you have to pop it back out, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. So what you want to do is loosen these screws a little bit, but doing that actually leaves a little bit of a gap. So it's a little bit of a compromise, but it is nice and tight, so you don't have to worry about this flopping all over the place. Other differences I noted were the head sculpt. The head sculpt's completely different, and so is this chest section here, which looks more like the G1. I don't have the actual G1 here with me at the moment, but this looks like the G1, and it is different than the regular Hexatron. Another thing I noticed up close, even though the swirl marks will make it look a little bit weird, but I noticed on the review I saw that this also looked a little strange, and so did these chest pieces here, but the molding does seem to look a little bit sharper on this KO version. I also noticed that the helmet would come off and there would be a face. I cannot take this off, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping I could just pop the head off. What I did notice though is that the head is more like the G1. And another big difference is the coloring. This is more of a cyan blue. It's kind of color. On my camera it looks a little weird. It's not on the greenish side like the regular one. It's more on the bluish side. But apparently that was made to emulate a commercial for Sixshot, and I did find some images where it does look a little blue. More of a difference that I saw was down here. I think it has stripes. I think there's also stripes here. This is different here than the Hexatron. I don't know if the Hexatron, this whole thing is black. I don't have one to compare. I'm just going off memory. And if I'm not mistaken, there was also pink running through these panel lines here. This does not have any of that. One of the things that I saw as an improvement were the some of the ratchet parts of the figure. So if I'm not mistaken, I think there were really soft ratchets on the MMC Hexatron on the leg here, and these, you can hear, are very tough. We also have the knees here. We might as well go over articulation since I'm pretty much halfway done through that. But just wanted to show you the parts that are a little bit better. Another thing was the arms had soft ratchets, just like this guy. But then, listen to this. That is some mean ratchets, folks. And the one in the review had soft ratchets back and forth. Aside from that, I didn't see too many differences overall, but I think in the end, this is the one I would prefer from what I've seen so far. And another thing I wanted to show you guys is the baggie. Let me get this guy back here. And by the way, I prefer to have his wings this way. I love winged robots like Voltron and stuff like that and Mazinger Z. So I'm going to make mine look like that. So you got this baggie full of really cool stuff. First thing is his regular weapons here. So I'm going to pull those out. And what I like to do with these is peg them right back here, like so. Alright, gives them a little bit of a cooler look there, like a ninja. Actually, to make him really look like a ninja, it's got these swords here, which are very, where are they? Here they are. These swords here, which may look familiar to a lot of you guys as drift swords, they look like drift swords. So they come in this little sheath here, which has some nice little screws here. It's 2 pieces, I believe. Yeah. And you can actually peg them into the side here. It's got these adjustable rings right here, which you can just pop it in right there. And do the same with the other one. And you can also angle them back kind of away. All right, you can see how that is. And these swords do come out as I showed you. But one of the cool bonuses with this is these extra swords. And they come in these little plastic sleeves here. But check this out, it's a die-cast metal sword. This one's a little fingerprinty from the factory. I didn't clean that one up. But it does come with 2. Here's the other one. So yeah, and metal. This is right up my alley. Speaking of metal, I did find some old, what do you call it, prototype shots of this Clonedroid, and they showed a lot of die-cast parts, which are not transferred into the final project here, the final result here, I should say, which is kind of a bummer. But I think if it had the amount of die-cast they showed in the prototype, it might have been a big mess, to be honest. So it's kind of cool it's plastic, but maybe something out of metal, maybe the feet, I don't know, something would have made it a little bit cooler, but I guess that's why they threw this in, like just to be able to say they have some die cast in there. Another bonus, I don't know if the Hexatron is the same way, but it does come with spare shurikens. I'll show you how these guys work. They're all over the wheels on him. These you just pop out, they're kind of geared. There you go. They open up just like that. So it's got 2 extra ones. All right. I also did find in the baggie 2 extra rubber tires, which is always a good thing. Awesome. And you get these 2 swords here, which are really cool. Nicely painted and detailed and sculpted. And what looks like a stand for the swords. So I'll go ahead and put that together later on in the review. So as you guys probably noticed, I spoke about doing the articulation and somehow got off track, but we're going to go back to that right now. We got the head here. Not a lot of movement up and down. You get the typical side to side all the way around since it is on a ball joint. And again, the helmet does not come off. You get these things that spin here, little spinny wheels. I showed you the incredible ratchets there. For some reason on the way up they're soft. The arms do go forward and back. You also get the elbow, which are, they're squeaky, but they are ratchets. And then you get the hands here. And the hands are pretty cool. It's got the thumb here. Okay, the thumb is separately articulated from the rest of the hand. And they could have just stopped and just made these 4 fingers together, molded together, but they're actually individual, but not jointed knuckles, or not ball jointed knuckles. They're just one straight pin going through the 4 fingers. So they are individually articulated, but they do not splay out like human fingers. And you'll also notice there's a little weird kind of thing right here. It's not a closed circle. Sort of got that open space there. That is to allow friction when you hold the handles. All right, because this metal sword would probably fall right out, but you can pry it in there. It's a little bit of a tight fit. All right, and you can see it holds the sword without having the fingers wrapped around. All you got to do is close them up so it looks not stupid. And there you are. That's what it looks like with that. And you can obviously do the same with the other swords. These swords do have Chinese lettering. I don't know if that's kanji. I don't know any of that stuff, guys. My assistant is not here. But the metal ones don't have that. So it's just the plastic ones. And the plastic ones are just black plastic with a silver bit right here. And they would fit in there just the same way as the metal ones. And close them up, and there you are. And you also get these crazy bladed axe sword type weapon, which also pops right into the hand here, the same way everything else does. You do want to work the fingers around first, and I'm sorry I'm going off camera there, before you pop it in. But it holds the weapons really nicely. I really like the design of that. It's a little thin, and it's scary at first. I almost didn't even want to put the weapons in there because I didn't know the quality of the plastic, and now this guy doesn't want to let go of that. But you can see it's a very thin piece of plastic, but I've shoved swords in there constantly while looking at this before the review. No issues with stressing the plastics. Speaking of plastics, I know I told you the molding is very sharp. This guy has really good plastics. I have no complaint. Look at this thing. It's solid, and I just love all the clicky bits. And again, I forgot to finish the articulation. So we left off with the fingers. Don't let me forget to finish articulation, folks. And we got the waist here. All right. We got the legs going forward with ratchets. I showed you the outside. I also showed you the knees here. There's also a thigh swivel. And then you have the feet here, which move up and down, as you can see. There's also an ankle tilt. The one thing I did notice is that this guy kept wanting to fall over because he does have a good amount of plastic heft, and the ankles are not necessarily on the weak side, but if he reaches a certain angle forward or back, he's going to topple over. And the way I worked around that was actually tightening this screw. I didn't tighten it too much. If you're going to do that, be careful you don't strip anything. I didn't have any issues stripping it, but or the metal or the plastic, but just be careful if it really bothers you enough. One thing I did notice also is you see those little teeth there, little round things. It looks like there should have been little nubs on the ankles to pop in and out of those nubs so that it would be like a ratchet ankle. It does not have that. I don't know if the Hexatron was like that, but this one does not have any type of ratcheting feature on the ankle. What we'll do now is take a moment just to see how he scales with some other figures. We have the MP10U, which is a KO here on the left, also available at tfdirect.com. We have the deluxe Takara Tomy RC. We have the legend size swerve dude there. We have Bad Cube Braun right there. And right behind him we have the new MP23 exhaust. And I didn't forget about the stand here, guys. Here it is. We got the two metal swords, which I can't wait to polish them up to get rid of all that fingerprint action. It's just a simple stand. It's a 4-piece stand. It's got these two bars here and it's two sides, and then you can just put the swords there. You can do the metal ones or the plastic ones, but of course I want the metal ones. Now, like any good transformer, he does transform. His name is Sixshot, so that 6 part of the name means he transforms into 6 different things. So the fun part is next, which is the transformation sequence, and of course fun for you, not for me, since it can take me a very long time to do those little sequences you guys love. But enough of the blabbing. Let's just go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so here he is in his massively huge aircraft mode. You notice this thing doesn't want to stay in. This is due to literally tons of transformations. So while we do this, I am going to put a booger, you see that, a booger here, just to hold it for the rest of the review. Alright, and it's really nothing nail polish can't handle. But everything else, very awesome. It feels really solid. Other than that little piece, there's nothing really coming off. I love the way these things open up to show these little boosters. Very cool aircraft mode. I like how the wings are on the bottom. Typically planes have them on top, but this looks really nice that way. You got the cockpit here. It's got these two little things here which you can swivel. These would be where the holsters for the sword, the sheaths, whatever you want to call them, would go. You can actually use them as guns. You can see it kind of looks like a gun. Just attach it right up here. You can do the same with the other one on the other side. Alright, just like that. Or you can use these into these holes right here. Just like that. Very cool assortment of combinations you can do with that. You can also peg them into the side here, like so. You can also use these swords here. You can attach them right here, and I really think it gives it a nice, cool look there. When you put them together, they're nice and symmetrical. And if we flip this around, you'll see it's got landing gear. It's got like little skids that come out from underneath the wings, and also from here. You just have to have nails to do it. I did notice reviewers having trouble pulling this out without taking these two halves, but not a problem with this one. And you'll see how it is with the little skid plates there. One thing I noticed while in this mode is that, and I didn't notice on the original Hexatron, is that these pipe things right here, these exhaust ports or whatever you want to call them, aren't painted. At least it didn't look painted on the reviews. These are painted silver. They kind of blend in with the white here, but they are painted silver, as are these little claws right here. Now, while we have them here like this, and I'm sorry for my voice cracking, we're going to put them into the weapon mode, since this is the easiest alternate mode to do that with. So we'll go ahead and do that. And that was literally it. Just folding the top wings there and pulling these bottom wings together to form the handle. This is obviously nothing you're going to get in trouble with on the street, hopefully. There is no trigger. I don't know if this can be used sort of like a trigger. It's a really weird trigger, but I guess if you needed to fake something, you can do that. But it really does not have a trigger at all. And too bad I had to stop the video right after I did the pew 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 sounds because my daughter just called me crazy. But anyway, from this mode, we can go ahead and do the vehicle, whatever, APC mode, all right, which is very easy. We just do it this way. Ew. Once in the APC mode, you'll see he's got a very big like front end, and the wheels are kind of thrown out back here. But as you can see, it actually balances. It stays put, which is kind of weird since it feels like most of the weight is here. Somehow, it still balances itself out. So very well designed right there. Of course, one of the things you want to make sure is you spin these around during transformation so you can have these up here, which will allow you to hook up the weapons like you did during the aircraft mode. We'll just go ahead and pop those on just so you can see what it looks like real quick. Hopefully that won't fold down on me. There you go. And push these two things to the side just to give it a really mean look there. I really like the way that looks. You can also mount these guns up top here. And that is just outfitted with lots of weaponry right there, folks. And the little flap thing that was loose on the airplane is not loose in this position. It doesn't pop out. So I guess it's only in the aircraft position. I guess this way the pin is, has a little more friction there. We'll take a quick look at the rest before we move on. So now the rubber wheels are facing down. It's kind of cool the way these exhaust pipes look right there. Here's the grill again. And overall pretty cool. Here's the cockpit. It almost looks like the top part of a robot, like you can attach arms here and then legs down here. Now I've had to revert back to robot mode here so I can do the tank next. That's what we're going to check out, is a tank, which is a little easier to do here in robot mode since it's pretty much just him kneeled around with his legs behind his back. So we'll go ahead and do that. Here is good old tank mode. It seems like the Transformers universe always throws a big middle finger up to tank modes. And it's not so bad. It's just not your typical tank. I think it's more of like a missile launching kind of vehicle. And the way the claws up here, they kind of look like missile launchers, and it's just strange. I mean, it's not every day you see tanks with claws, although there are some that do exist and dig up bombs or whatever. But this is it right here. It's got the treads down here, obviously not working treads, but it does have working wheels up front. Cockpit right here. Pretty much exactly what I said it was, just some type of weird missile launching type of vehicle. This is probably one of the laziest modes aside from the gun, which is the absolute laziest. It's literally just the airplane with the wings drawn down. They could have gone and done something really, really ugly, but it is what it is. You can see it's really just a robot laying down with his legs behind them. And again, you can pretty much put the weapons wherever they fit in peg holes, just to really customize it your own way. Alright, so back to this not sort of a robot mode, but sort of is. To get into the last mode, which is the freaking wolf. You can forget about it if I'm going to do that sequence for this. It's pretty much done already. To do the wolf mode, I'm just going to go into it real quick. You have to spin the waist around, and be careful, because I always tell myself be careful so I don't snap that thing. Bring this down so you don't break it as you spin it, because it's kind of hard to tell since the joints are tight if you're really putting stress on anything, so just make sure you're not. That will allow you to bring the legs this way, the knees, and fold the claws up this way. Bring the arms down. First, you might want to take the wolf head out. Just got to split these two things. Be careful, there's little tabs, as you can see right there, so just be careful pulling them open. Bring his head out, close the two little thingies again for the cockpit. Bring his ears up. Now, even though this is a really simple transformation, again, it's really just a robot with his legs backwards and his arms down. Really like how a person turns into a werewolf. I do like it. This is probably my favorite mode. I don't know if it has anything to do with me liking, robotic lions or whatever. I know this is not a lion. like Voltron and stuff. But I really like it, and I like the fact that the what do you call it? The mouth opens, and the teeth look really sharp. Look at that, really sharp, but they're actually wide from the front. I don't know why they did it that way instead of having the thin side be in the front, which makes it look more buck-toothed than anything. But that's how it is. So really cool, and it's got a clear red plastic eye. Well, eyes actually. I don't know if one side light pipes the other. I guess that's the effect they're trying to go for here, because there's nothing up top, but you can see. You see the light blinking back and forth. So I guess that's the effect they were going for. You get the same kind of articulation you would really in robot mode. You get the big ratchets here, the elbows, the claws, pretty much where they are. So they're on an angle if you keep the arms out this way. Same for back here. It has a little kind of weird knock-knee look to it, and the claws unfortunately do not angle either, which kind of makes them look a little bit silly. But at least from the front, I would say this thing looks really cool. From the back, not so much. A little weird. Wish I had like some sort of tail or something. But overall, not too bad for something that transforms into 6 freaking things, even though a couple of them are kind of cheating and not really alternate modes that I consider to be full-blown alternate modes. They're just slight variations of everything, but very cool, guys. I'm going to get him back into robot mode and just give you my final thoughts. Alright, so let's see. Honestly, originally, this did not catch my attention. I'm talking about the original too, the Hexatron. Just something I passed up. I was never really a big fan of Sixshot. But now that I've had a chance to mess around with a couple of different figures, I'm really digging the figure, and I'm really happy that I was able to review this. I wish I had the original to compare it with to see if one's better than the other. Visually, this looks like it's more sharply molded than the original. Again, I don't know for sure, but for those of you that haven't wanted to compare, I don't know if the what you can see here will show you guys that do have it if this is more sharply molded. I did notice some weird paint things, artifacts going on in the original when they got up close. This seems to be a smoother looking finish. Again, if anybody can comment on that, please let me know. But I think it's a very well made figure. Definitely recommended if you're looking for this, or if this interests you with the die-cast swords and little differences between this and the original Hexatron. And again, if you want to pick this up, you can go ahead and check out tf-direct.com. They were kind enough to send this over for a review, and thanks again to them and to Clonedroid. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Anybody with more information on this or the original Hexatron to help the other viewers really come to a decision, see what they prefer. If you're enjoying the videos, guys, please subscribe so I can bring you more. And until next time, bye-bye.
Do it again. 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 Do it again.
Pew, 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 pew.
Do it again.
Pew, 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 pew.
Do it
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew.
again.